A very good and happy Thanksgiving Day morning to everyone out there. Landon here in the driver's seat with you, bringing you your latest weather or not forecast, courtesy of On Target. Still got some cloud cover lingering out there, at least across the eastern tier of the region early this morning. Got a great view of the state dock overlooking Barren River Lake here early this morning via our Proclaim broadcasting camera. And the good news is we got the cloud cover that's moving out, but colder weather that seems to be settling in. Let's get a look across the region. Another gander here overlooking the D93 Sky Camp, downtown Bowling Green. You can see where the cloud cover is starting to break up out there. That is the good news. We're going to have loads of sunshine to soak in and enjoy throughout the day. But again, folks, we're going to have some brisk northwesterly winds. It's going to be creating even colder conditions than what we have been experiencing. Getting a look at the latest surface map and setup early this morning. We have got this trough axis. You can see that dashed brown line that's going to be making its way through here. Got some of the cloud cover that's pushing off here to the north and east as it does so. High pressure building in here from the west is really going to reinvigorate that northwesterly flow. Going to have breezy northwest winds throughout the day. Combine that with the cold temperatures, we're going to be dealing with wind chills that's even colder than that. So you're going to want the winter wardrobe out there as you head out for your Turkey Day activities. That is a promise. Of course, all that starts with our early morning readings. We have got temperatures located anywhere between the low and mid 30s across the board. Bring up our current wind gusts. You can see they're already out the west here. Gusting upwards of 10 to 15 miles an hour. And we could jump over here and we can give you the latest short-term model guidance. We're going to talk about today into tomorrow first. And then we got the opportunity of some winter weather shenanigans. It's going to be following suit, not just at the start of the weekend, but during the early days of next week, folks. We're going to need to be keeping very, very close eyes on things, all right? So we can jump over here. We can bring up the latest short-term model guidance and give you the breakdown. First, we are going to be looking at what our wind speeds are going to be doing throughout today. Very quickly here after sunrise, we've got winds that'll be gusting upwards of 15 to 25 miles an hour throughout the entirety of today. Here we are working through this afternoon. Then we get into the overnight and we get these winds that subside to an extent, all right? There's going to be a lull in the gusty wind as we work throughout the overnight, but as we work into our Black Friday, we see a return of those 10 to 20 plus mile an hour gusts that will continue to beleaguer the region, all right? Now, what's going to come in tandem with that is going to be an impact on our real field temperatures. We are looking at a model map here based upon our wind chills and the real feel of the air as we work throughout the day. So here we are working into this morning. We got wind chills down in the mid-20s. And folks, look at lunchtime. Not going to see much alteration here. Wind chills are going to remain right around the upper 20s, lower 30s throughout the entirety of today. Going to want the windbreakers on in addition to those layers of clothing. Here we are working into our Friday, and folks, dare I say it, it's going to be even colder. Northwest winds will remain intact despite that sunshine, much like today. But look at our wind chills. Again, hanging out, meandering right there between the upper 20s to lower 30s. That's pretty much going to be the name of the game, folks, as we work throughout today on into our Black Friday as well. Now we're going to jump over here and we're going to talk about the big picture view. The first system that we're going to be monitoring here over the course of the next week is going to be arriving right at the start of the weekend. You can see the cold air staying in. Low pressure advances in here from the west. And as early as Saturday afternoon, we're going to have the opportunity of seeing a wintry mix of rain and snow impacting the region. It might even start off as all sleet or snow before a rather quick transition as we roll into our Saturday evening over to plain Jane rain, all right? You can see the location of the low. We are to the south and east side of the low, which is the warm side. So we look like we're going to be dealing with some widespread light to moderate rain showers as we work through Saturday night. Here we are working into our Sunday. And the passing cold front works out of the region, taking the bulk of the moisture and the rain chances east of the Wobbles community by the time we roll into our Sunday afternoon. Keep your eyes out across the Great Plains to our west. We have got cold air that's going to be settling in with this Canadian high pressure working in here out of the north and west. Now, folks, if you all have been watching us at any point in time over the years, we talk about particular setups that we need to get a decent snow here across the Wobbles community and the rest of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, all right? One of our primary factors that we deal with is that we struggle to have the cold air in place before the moisture arrives, all right? Now, I want you to watch how this system evolves here as we work throughout our Monday and we work into Tuesday. There's still several question marks, all right? We're still 4 to 5 days out from this thing coming to fruition, but there will be alterations and changes. But Canadian high pressure will be bringing in that much colder air mass here as we work into our Monday, all right? Keep your eyes on this developing low, and the exact track of this low is going to be the determining factor of what kind of impactful weather we experience during the early days of next week. So we'll put this into motion for you. We get the cold air that's attempting to work in here. And you can see the freeze line is nose back north of the Ohio River Monday night into very early Tuesday morning, all right? We got this low riding right along the Gulf Coast, which if you are a snow fan like myself, you want the model guidance to continue to show this. But watch that low crawl right up the spine of the Appalachian Mountains. This is the exact track and path that you want this low pressure system to take for a good old-fashioned walloping of snow here across the Wobbles region. So by the time that we roll into lunchtime on Tuesday, look at the Euro model setup. This is a classic snow setup for the lower Ohio Valley. Again, if you're a snow fan like me, we want the model runs moving forward to continue to mimic this right here. We've got the classic setup. We get the warm conveyor belt pumping all of that moisture off of the Atlantic and out of the Gulf that is being lifted up and over the colder air that's located north of the warm front. Cold air is more dense than warm air. So whenever the warm air lifts to the north, it's forced vertically up and over that warm front, and that moisture gets lifted over a sub-freezing air mass that is referred to as the cold conveyor belt. That cold conveyor belt jolts in out of the north and east and wraps around on the west side of the low, and that's where we have the dynamics within our atmosphere that results in the stretching of the atmosphere. We refer to these as deformation bands that can allow for a whole lot of snow to be produced and generated on whoever is located to the north and west side of the low. You can see the black star that I've outlined right there. We are literally just north and west of the surface low. That is the bullseye for a healthy, significant snowfall. Still numerous question marks, folks, but 4 to 5 days out, models are starting to come into somewhat of agreement, but any displacement of that surface low can have a drastic impact of what we're going to experience. If you pull that low too far down to our south and east, you're going to eradicate any precipitation. It might just be a light snow that we experience. If you shift that low off to the north and west by 100 miles, we're going to be caught underneath plain Jane rain, maybe a little bit of sleet to mix in with that. And if it's far enough to the north and west, we're in more of the warm side, to the south and east side of this weather maker, and we'll just deal with all rain and thunderstorms, all right? But needless to say, this one is worth keeping very close eyes on here as we work over the upcoming days. I do love this setup, and hopefully confidence will continue to rise. I don't know about you all. I'm ready for some more winter weather shenanigans. That is a promise, all right? We can jump back over here and we can talk about the primary outlook. First and foremost, we are going to be looking at the weekend system. We're not overly confident in getting any sort of significant snowfall out of this. We might have a slushy, quick dusting or coating Saturday afternoon before a very fast transition over to plain Jane rain. But you can see here we've got a 0% probability of seeing 1 inch of snowfall in that Saturday to Sunday time frame, looking more significant as we work into our Tuesday of next week, but we got to get past this initial weather maker first. Not expecting thunderstorms on Saturday. The storm predictions is keeping the outline for the generalized thunderstorms well to our south and west. It looks like just rain, and we're going to have to deal with. Total rainfall amounts over the course of these two systems moving through here over the course of the next week. An additional 1 to 3 inches of rainfall could be possible. Folks, take it with a grain of salt. Some of this could be falling in the form of wintry precipitation and snow. We'll have to be patient as we work over the course of the next several days here. Here's a full breakdown of your next 6-day weather forecast. Frigid cold throughout this Thanksgiving Day, rolling into our Black Friday as well, with highs holding right around the lower 40s, wind chills upper 20s, lower 30s throughout. We're going to see on Saturday perhaps an initial wintry mix of rain and snow, maybe some sleet. Very fast transition over to all rain Saturday night and into the Sunday morning hours. And then Sunday night into Monday morning, might have a little dash of a wintry mix to deal with there. And then Monday night into Tuesday, and Tuesday night is what we're going to be watching like a hawk for the opportunity at a more significant snow impacting the region. Folks, it's going to wrap up this Thanksgiving Day weather or not forecast presented by On Target. I hope you all are enjoying this Turkey Day with your family and friends, and I would love to express how eternally grateful myself and the entirety of the Weather or Not team here are for having you as a part of our journey. We got several things in the works with some big announcements here on the horizon. None of this would be possible without you all showing us your continued support. We are eternally grateful for that. You all take care of yourselves and each other. Have a